साहब, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। हुजूर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता।
अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान।
अपनों को खुशियां दिलाना आसान नहीं बनाते तो आगे कैसे बढ़ते। इसीलिए हम जो भी करते हैं उसे बेहतर बनाते आ रहे हैं, बनाते रहेंगे। बजाज फिनसर्व, थिंक इट डन।
आने वाले कल की दस्तक हमें सुनाई देती है, नई मंजिल है जिस ओर हमें वो दिशा दिखाई देती है। नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए जोश से निकल पड़े हम, आने वाला कल होगा हमारा। नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
और नए इंडिया के इस सफर में टेक्नोलॉजी की शक्ति लेकर आपका भागीदार रहेगा रिलायंस। रिलायंस, नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
Welcome to the world of Tata Steel, a flagship company of the global business conglomerate, the Tata Group. Tata Steel is one of the world's most geographically diversified steel producers, with operations and commercial presence across the world. The story began with the dream of one man, Jamsetji Nusserwanji Tata, a pioneer, a visionary, a man ahead of his times. He had his heart set on building a steel plant in India that would compare with the best globally. His dream was brought to fruition by his son, Dorabji Tata, and thus was born Tata Iron and Steel in Jamshedpur in 1907. At the turn of the 21st century, fueled by its global aspirations, Tata Steel expanded its footprint to Southeast Asia in Singapore and Thailand. Acquisition of Chorus in Europe in 2007 placed it amongst the top global steel companies in the world. In 2015, Tata Steel set up a state-of-the-art integrated steel plant at Kalinga, Nagar, Odisha in India. The Phase 2 expansion of Kalinga Nagar steel plant from 3 million TPA to 8 million TPA is currently underway. The company is all set to pursue domestic growth with its acquisition of Bhushan Steel Limited and the steel business of Usha Martin. This forms part of the overall strategy to increase its India footprint, build capacity in long products, and enrich the product portfolio. Besides steel manufacturing facilities, the company has mining assets in the state of Jharkhand and Odisha in India. Tata Steel has evolved into a leading steel manufacturer, catering to diverse market segments. In its trend-setting journey, spanning more than a century, Tata Steel has contributed immensely towards the well-being of the planet and people. Guided by its vision to be the global steel industry benchmark for value creation and corporate citizenship, Tata Steel is poised to lead the future.
सुरक्षा हर पिच पर, ताकत लंबी पारी खेलने की, परफेक्ट फिट, क्वालिटी टेस्ट, मैच से पहले ये सारे चेक्स बहुत जरूरी होते हैं, ठीक वैसे जैसे घर की छत चूज करते समय। तो बस ले आइए GSW कलर ऑन प्लस की छत, जो दे आपके घर को मजबूती और सुरक्षा। GSW कलर ऑन प्लस, सुंदर छत सालों साल।
GSW नियो स्टील TMT सरिया बेस्ट है।
सरिया दिखता कहाँ है?
ये देखिए बेस्ट क्वालिटी।
चेस्ट गार्ड है, दिखता कहाँ है?
दिखता नहीं तो कुछ भी लगाओगे क्या? ये देना। JSW नियो स्टील TMT बार, प्योर स्टील, मजबूत घर।
ये दीवारें जानती हैं हर शुरुआत का पता। एक नई सोच के साथ अपने सपने की सुबह।
जब उम्मीद मिलाए हिम्मत से हाथ, हर सपने को मिले मजबूती का साथ।
आओ बनाए हर सपने को मजबूत JSW सीमेंट के साथ। JSW सीमेंट, द लीडर्स चॉइस।
कभी हिंदुस्तान के रंगों के बारे में सोचा है? लाल, पीला, हरा, नीला। तो चलो मिलकर इस रंगीन चादर को फिर से सिलते हैं। जो तेरा वो मेरा, और जो मेरा वो सबका। इसीलिए पहली बार JSW पेंट्स लाए हैं 1808 शेड्स एक ही प्राइस पर। JSW पेंट्स, थिंक ब्यूटीफुल।
In 1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are a $100 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Our today is about delivering excellence across business sectors. Today is about building a future-ready nation. Our today has a strong foundation with community at its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Our today is always about more than just today. Our today is a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata, leadership with trust.
सर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। साहब, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। हुजूर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता।
अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान।
अपनों को खुशियां दिलाना आसान नहीं बनाते तो आगे कैसे बढ़ते। इसीलिए हम जो भी करते हैं उसे बेहतर बनाते आ रहे हैं, बनाते रहेंगे। बजाज फिनसर्व, थिंक इट डन।
आने वाले कल की दस्तक हमें सुनाई देती है, नई मंजिल है जिस ओर हमें वो दिशा दिखाई देती है। नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए जोश से निकल पड़े हम, आने वाला कल होगा हमारा। नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
और नए इंडिया के इस सफर में टेक्नोलॉजी की शक्ति लेकर आपका भागीदार रहेगा रिलायंस। रिलायंस, नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
Welcome to the world of Tata Steel, a flagship company of the global business conglomerate, the Tata Group. Tata Steel is one of the world's most geographically diversified steel producers, with operations and commercial presence across the world. The story began with the dream of one man, Jamsetji Nusserwanji Tata, a pioneer, a visionary, a man ahead of his times. He had his heart set on building a steel plant in India that would compare with the best globally. His dream was brought to fruition by his son, Dorabji Tata, and thus was born Tata Iron and Steel in Jamshedpur in 1907. At the turn of the 21st century, fueled by its global aspirations, Tata Steel expanded its footprint to Southeast Asia in Singapore and Thailand. Acquisition of Chorus in Europe in 2007 placed it amongst the top global steel companies in the world. In 2015, Tata Steel set up a state-of-the-art integrated steel plant at Kalinga, Nagar, Odisha in India. The Phase 2 expansion of Kalinga Nagar steel plant from 3 million TPA to 8 million TPA is currently underway. The company is all set to pursue domestic growth with its acquisition of Bhushan Steel Limited and the steel business of Usha Martin. This forms part of the overall strategy to increase its India footprint, build capacity in long products, and enrich the product portfolio. Besides steel manufacturing facilities, the company has mining assets in the state of Jharkhand and Odisha in India. Tata Steel has evolved into a leading steel manufacturer, catering to diverse market segments. In its trend-setting journey, spanning more than a century, Tata Steel has contributed immensely towards the well-being of the planet and people. Guided by its vision to be the global steel industry benchmark for value creation and corporate citizenship, Tata Steel is poised to lead the future.
सुरक्षा हर पिच पर, ताकत लंबी पारी खेलने की, परफेक्ट फिट, क्वालिटी टेस्ट, मैच से पहले ये सारे चेक्स बहुत जरूरी होते हैं, ठीक वैसे जैसे घर की छत चूज करते समय। तो बस ले आइए GSW कलर ऑन प्लस किचन, जो दे आपके घर को मजबूती और सुरक्षा। GSW कलर ऑन प्लस, सुंदर छत सालों साल।
GSW नियो स्टील TMT सरिया बेस्ट है।
सरिया दिखता कहाँ है?
ये देखिए बेस्ट क्वालिटी।
चेस्ट गार्ड है, दिखता कहाँ है?
दिखता नहीं तो कुछ भी लगाओगे क्या? ये देना JSW नियो स्टील TMT बार, प्योर स्टील, मजबूत घर।
ये दीवारें जानती हैं हर शुरुआत का पता। एक नई सोच के साथ अपने सपने की सुबह।
जब उम्मीद मिलाए हिम्मत से हाथ, हर सपने को मिले मजबूती का साथ।
आओ बनाए हर सपने को मजबूत JSW सीमेंट के साथ। JSW सीमेंट, द लीडर्स चॉइस।
कभी हिंदुस्तान के रंगों के बारे में सोचा है?
Put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are $100 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Our today is about delivering excellence across business sectors. Our today is about building a future-ready nation. Our today has a strong foundation with community at its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Our today is always about more than just today. a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata. Leadership with trust.
सर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। साहब, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। हुजूर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता।
अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान।
अपनों को खुशियां दिलाना आसान नहीं बनाते। FinServe. Think it. Done.
आने वाले कल की दस्तक हमें सुनाई देती है, नई मंजिल है जिस ओर हमें वो दिशा दिखाई देती है। नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए जोश से निकल पड़े हम, आने वाला कल होगा हमारा। नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
और नए इंडिया के इस सफर में टेक्नोलॉजी की शक्ति लेकर आपका भागीदार रहेगा रिलायंस। रिलायंस, नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
Welcome to the world of Tata Steel, a flagship company of the global business conglomerate, the Tata Group. Tata Steel is one of the world's most geographically diversified steel producers, with operations and commercial presence across the world. The story began with the dream of one man, Jamsetji Nusserwanji Tata, a pioneer, a visionary, a man ahead of his times. He had his heart set on building a steel plant in India that would compare with the best globally. His dream was brought to fruition by his son, Dorabji Tata, and thus was born Tata Iron and Steel in Jamshedpur in 1907. At the turn of the 21st century, fueled by its global aspirations, Tata Steel expanded its footprint to Southeast Asia in Singapore and Thailand. Acquisition of Chorus in Europe in 2007 placed it amongst the top global steel companies in the world. In 2015, Tata Steel set up a state-of-the-art integrated steel plant at Kalinga, Nagar, Odisha in India. The Phase 2 expansion of Kalinga Nagar steel plant from 3 million TPA to 8 million TPA is currently underway. The company is all set to pursue domestic growth with its acquisition of Bhushan Steel Limited and the steel business of Usha Martin. This forms part of the overall strategy to increase its India footprint, build capacity in long products, and enrich the product portfolio. Besides steel manufacturing facilities, the company has mining assets in the state of Jharkhand and Odisha in India. Tata Steel has evolved into a leading steel manufacturer, catering to diverse market segments. In its trend-setting journey, spanning more than a century, Tata Steel has contributed immensely towards the well-being of the planet and people. Guided by its vision to be the global steel industry benchmark for value creation and corporate citizenship, Tata Steel is poised to lead the future.
सुरक्षा हर पिच पर, ताकत लंबी पारी खेलने की, परफेक्ट फिट, क्वालिटी टेस्ट, मैच से पहले ये सारे चेक्स बहुत जरूरी होते हैं, ठीक वैसे जैसे घर की छत चूज करते समय। तो बस ले आइए GSW कलर ऑन प्लस की छत, जो दे आपके घर को मजबूती और सुरक्षा। GSW कलर ऑन प्लस, सुंदर छत सालों साल।
JSW नियो स्टील TMT सरिया बेस्ट है।
सरिया दिखता कहाँ है?
ये देखिए बेस्ट क्वालिटी।
चेस्ट गार्ड है, दिखता कहाँ है?
दिखता नहीं तो कुछ भी लगाओगे क्या? ये देना JSW नियो स्टील TMT बार, प्योर स्टील, मजबूत घर।
ये दीवारें जानती हैं हर शुरुआत का पता। एक नई सोच के साथ अपने सपने की सुबह।
जब उम्मीद मिलाए हिम्मत से हाथ, हर सपने को मिले मजबूती का साथ।
आओ बनाए हर सपने को मजबूत JSW सीमेंट के साथ। JSW सीमेंट, द लीडर्स चॉइस।
कभी हिंदुस्तान के रंगों के बारे में सोचा है? लाल, पीला, हरा, नीला। तो चलो मिलकर इस रंगीन चादर को फिर से सिलते हैं। जो तेरा वो मेरा, और जो मेरा वो सबका। इसीलिए पहली बार JSW पेंट्स लाए हैं 1808 शेड्स एक ही प्राइस पर। JSW पेंट्स, थिंक ब्यूटीफुल।
In 1868, the Tata Group was founded on a philosophy that put the community at the heart of its existence. Today, we are a $100 billion global enterprise. Our today has been built on enduring values. Today is about delivering excellence across business sectors. Is about building a future-ready nation. Our today has a strong foundation with community at its core. Our today is dedicated to the communities we serve. Today is always about more than just today. Our today is a continuous journey for a better tomorrow. Tata, leadership with trust.
सर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। साहब, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता। हुजूर, अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान हो ही नहीं सकता।
अपनों को खुश रखना इससे आसान।
अपनों को खुशियां दिलाना आसान नहीं बनाते तो आगे कैसे बढ़ते। इसीलिए हम जो भी करते हैं उसे बेहतर बनाते आ रहे हैं, बनाते रहेंगे। बजाज फिनसर्व, थिंक इट डन।
आने वाले कल की दस्तक हमें सुनाई देती है, नई मंजिल है जिस ओर हमें वो दिशा दिखाई देती है। नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए इंडिया का नया जोश, नए जोश से निकल पड़े हम, आने वाला कल होगा हमारा। नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
और नए इंडिया के इस सफर में टेक्नोलॉजी की शक्ति लेकर आपका भागीदार रहेगा रिलायंस। रिलायंस, नए इंडिया का नया जोश।
Welcome to the world of Tata Steel, a flagship company of the global business conglomerate, the Tata Group. Tata Steel is one of the world's most geographically diversified steel producers, with operations and commercial presence across the world. The story began with the dream of one man, Jamsetji Nusserwanji Tata, a pioneer, a visionary, a man ahead of his times. He had his heart set on building a steel plant in India that would compare with the best globally. His dream was brought to fruition by his son, Dorabji Tata, and thus was born Tata Iron and Steel in Jamshedpur in 1907. At the turn of the 21st century, fueled by its global aspirations, Tata Steel expanded its footprint to Southeast Asia in Singapore and Thailand. Acquisition of Chorus in Europe in 2007 placed it amongst the top global steel companies in the world. In 2015, Tata Steel set up a state-of-the-art integrated steel plant at Kalinga Nagar, Odisha in India. The Phase 2 expansion of Kalinga Nagar steel plant from 3 million TPA to 8 million TPA is currently underway. The company is all set to pursue domestic growth with its acquisition of Bhushan Steel Limited and the steel business of Usha Martin. This forms part of the overall strategy to increase its India footprint, build capacity in long products, and enrich the product portfolio. Besides steel manufacturing facilities, the company has mining assets in the state of Jharkhand and Odisha in India. Tata Steel has evolved into a leading steel manufacturer, catering to diverse market segments.
we're just waiting for other ministers to join, and we'll start soon thereafter.
Good afternoon. I am Minister of Trade in Sri Lanka, Dr. Bandhu. How are you?
Fine, Minister. Thank you very much for joining. In a few moments, other ministers would also join. Thank you, Minister. Thank you.
Good afternoon from Myanmar, Madam Yepron, Minister of Commerce.
Yes, please, Dr. Tan. Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for being here, Dr. Tanvin.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Morning. Honorable Minister, we have all joined. All other ministers are joined, excepting for the minister from Finland, having a little issue on joining. Should be joining in a few minutes' time for the getting some logging in issues. With your permission, if we can start in the meantime, please.
Yes, we can start. We don't have any problem.
Please start.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Railways, and Chairman of the Partnership Summit 2020. His Excellency Dr. Thani bin Ahmed Al Zewdi, the Minister of State for Foreign Trade, UAE. His Excellency Mr. Ville Tapios Kinari, the Minister for Development of Cooperation and Foreign Trade, Finland, who will be joining shortly. His Excellency Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, the Minister of Trade from Sri Lanka. His Excellency Dr. Than Mint, the Minister for Commerce from Myanmar. Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, the Secretary of the Department of Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade of the Government of India. Mr. Uday Kotak, the President of the CII. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Partnership Summit 2020. We have here with us 6,000 delegates from various companies and business leaders. We have heads and senior representatives from global institutions, ambassadors and high commissioners, global institutions, multilateral agencies, think tanks, media, all of them present here for this conference. This is a special session of the Partnership Summit, which is coinciding with 125 years of CII. This Partnership Summit began during CII's 100th year, and therefore this is the 26th edition. And we are indeed most privileged to have the partnership of India's Ministry of Commerce and Industry for this very, very important event. And the Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, has been very kind to agree to chair the Partnership Summit. We take this opportunity, sir, to thank you for leading the Partnership Summit 2020 again and ensuring the success of it. A very warm welcome to all the excellencies, the ministers from our other countries who are present here today. We deeply appreciate yours taking time to participate in the Partnership Summit and share your perspectives with us. I'd also like to make a special welcome and mention of Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, who have been a pillar of support in organizing this event. He and his team has led from the front in terms of preparation for the Partnership Summit. The theme of the Partnership Summit this year is Partnerships for Lives, Livelihood and Growth. And also wanted to mention that with the Partnership Summit 2020 being held on a virtual platform this year, it really offers a unique opportunity to bring together eminent speakers and a much larger audience, as I mentioned, across the world. And we have 7 defined themes of geopolitics, economics, investment, trade, technology, sustainability, and healthcare, all of them across the summit. The summit will be addressed, of course, by senior ministers from the Government of India, 17 overseas ministers, and around 100 global CEOs and experts, and over 40 sessions are being planned. So we once again would like to welcome everyone for this to this very important occasion of Partnership Summit 2020. With that, may I now invite Mr. Uday Kotak, the President of the Confederation of Indian Industry, to please deliver his remarks.
Thank you, Chandrajit. Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal, Excellencies, the ministers who have graciously joined us today, Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, my colleague Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, Excellencies, senior officials, business leaders from around the world, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. I add my own welcome to all the participants at this very special convention, the Partnership Summit 2020. First, this summit is special, as Chandrajit mentioned, because it is CII's 125th year. Second, the summit comes at a time when the world, as we know, has transformed across multiple dimensions due to COVID. Third, this is the first ever virtual partnership summit. While we are not physically together, our digital connections are far larger in scale and scope. And I deeply appreciate all of you joining in from wherever you are in the world. Friends, we are living in a never normal world. This is very much a time when we rebuild the partnerships that may have frayed during trying times. Therefore, the Partnership Summit brings together a global congregation to navigate the way ahead, conceptualize solutions, build consensus, and drive responsible action. The theme for the summit, as CB mentioned, Chandrajit mentioned, is Lives, Livelihood, Growth. In this unprecedented and unpredictable year, as we draw to a close of this year, the conversations are about lockdowns, mRNA, viral vectors, immunization scaling. Technology has shifted gears and accelerated. Work from home has become a way of life. The questions today are about global and national responses, monetary and fiscal support measures, public health, and equitable and inclusive vaccination. A global dialogue to develop shared agenda for restoring growth and supporting vulnerable sections of society is an imperative. Let me outline some specific agendas we must collectively act upon and internalize. First is the geostrategic scaffolding, where cracks have been evident in recent years. The case for a multiple polar world regains importance at a time when nations are seeking to reinvent nationalism and enhance dominance. Second, global liquidity and historical support measures will have repercussions in the future, which will demand coordinated response measures from across major world economies. Third, cross-border flows of goods, services, funds, and technologies have been disrupted and must be reset at a higher plane. Four, lives and livelihoods have gained urgency within the present scenario. As the global economy reboots towards greater efficiency, we need to provide more and better employment. The importance of jobs in the new world cannot be understated. 5. Sustainability will be internalized in all economic activities with respect to Mother Nature. Mother Nature has given us a big call in 2020. Let us learn from it and make a better world. 6. Countries, people, communities will need to build resilience to shocks, and that will imply a stronger industrial ecosystem, which in turn will rest on physical, digital, and soft infrastructure, small and medium enterprises, and the entire framework of facilitative policies. The role of government itself has also significantly transformed for this new world. 7. Healthcare imperative must be urgently addressed by all nations equitably. We must ensure that vaccines are made available to all countries and to all sections of society so that the pandemic does not recur later. Within this context, I believe India has a key role to play in the global commons and can offer many solutions to the world. The recent policy measures across the economy set a new pace for growth. India is expected to be amongst the fastest growing economies in 2021. The reform agenda in India covers all aspects of policy, regulation, and administrative processes. A corporate tax cut, relaxation in FDI norms, new labor codes, reform in the agriculture sector, reforms in the MSME sector are all major investment boosters. India has already emerged as a major player in healthcare sector, in pharma, medical equipment, and above all, in trained and competent workforce. CII expects growth to rebound strongly in 2021, and we believe this is the right moment for India to expand its horizons in the world. With supportive measures from the government, this is the time for the world to intensify its partnership with India. From Indian industry point of view, let me stress, we are keen to deepen and strengthen our overseas partnerships by welcoming inward investors and by exploring outward opportunities. We at CII are privileged that so many global leaders, CEOs from top companies, and businesses from all parts of the world have joined the Partnership Summit. This gives us in Indian industry great hope that we can reach out to the world as a reliable, stable, and a trustworthy partner. A partner that engages with all for mutually beneficial relationships, and a partner that is self-reliant or Atmanirbhar, but still aligned and engaged with the world. I thank each and every one of you for participating in this summit. I'm sure dialogues held over the next 4 days will prove to be a new template for global partnerships where we are all stakeholders together. I would personally like to thank Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal for his leadership, and for the Commerce and Industry Ministry for being focused of India's role in a transformed world. And I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Goyal, Dr. Mahapatra, all other distinguished ministers who are present today for their support from different parts of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kotak, for your remarks. And you are the summit co-chairman, so therefore, yours laying out the contours of the partnership summit was very, very important. Thank you. May I now turn to Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, the Secretary, Department for Promotion of Investment and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to give his special remarks. Dr. Mahapatra.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. I extend a very warm welcome to the very distinguished galaxy of honorable ministers from different parts of the country and very, very distinguished participants. Mr. Uday Kotak, the President of CII and co-chair of the Partnership Summit 2020. Our Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry from Government of India, Mr. Piyush Goyal. His Excellency Dr. Thani bin Ahmad Jaudi, Minister of State for Foreign Trade, UAE. His Excellency Mr. Vilet Tapio Shikanari, Minister for Development, Cooperation and Foreign Trade, Finland. His Excellency Dr. Bandula Guruvardhana, Minister of Trade for Sri Lanka. His Excellency Betty Maina, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Industrializations from the Government of Kenya. Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me again extend my warm welcome to all of you participating in CII's Partnership Summit 2020. I congratulate CII for organizing this special event, which this year also marks the commemoration of CII's 125 years as a national organization committed to India's development journey. CII has been a true partner to India's development goals and has closely collaborated with DPIIT, that's our department in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, on various issues to strengthen the growth drivers and in creating a conducive environment for balanced and equitable growth. The COVID-19 pandemic and the associated economic crisis have posed huge challenges, raising many unknown and imposing massive trade issues. While millions of people are affected worldwide, lockdowns across the globe to contain the virus led to a near halt of economic activity, more or less in every country. As production and consumption were curtailed, global supply chains were widely disrupted along with output and employment. The Indian economy naturally also was affected due to the pandemic and faced massive disruptions across all sectors. However, the recent economic indicators are encouraging and has fueled hopes for a robust recovery. To combat the pandemic, the Indian government, under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, gave a clarion call to look for opportunities to turn the pandemic threat into an opportunity for the whole country, and took several steps to accelerate recovery while safeguarding the Indian economy from the negative consequences of the pandemic. A series of reforms have been undertaken by the Government of India in the recent COVID-19 pandemic period. At the center of these reforms has been the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is expected to pave the way for a sustainable growth trajectory for India. As part of the Atmanirbhar package, the focus has been on ramping up domestic manufacturing while ensuring that India becomes largely integrated into all the global value chains. And we are very actively, very proactively working in the industry to make identified champion sectors and promote exports and domestic production. The recently announced production-linked incentive schemes has been extended to 10 more identified champion sectors, including electronics, technology products, automobiles, auto components, pharmaceutical drugs, and so many other schemes. Other schemes like the remission of duties and taxes on export products will also make Indian export more viable and enhance export competitiveness. India has achieved remarkable success in ease of doing business, as is well known, and we now occupy the 63rd rank in the World Bank's ease of doing business rankings. India is among the top 50 innovating countries in the world and occupies the 48th rank in the Global Innovation Index. With many FDI reforms, with a very vibrant startup ecosystem in the country, the Indian market is opened up to the international investors in a big way. As the world resumes economic activity, major countries of the world are undertaking efforts for hastening the process of recovery. Global cooperation and international solidarity are the urgent need of the hour. This is probably why this partnership summit is called a partnership summit, because partnership is the urgent need of the hour. I strongly urge everyone to come forward in the summit to share their ideas on this global platform and find sustainable solutions and ways to mitigate the adverse effects of the pandemic through a coordinated approach. I sincerely thank once again the distinguished ministers from so many countries to make the inaugural a glittering success. And I once again thank CII for organizing this partnership summit in such COVID-affected times. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra. Thanks for your special remarks. It's now my pleasure and honor to request and invite His Excellency Dr. Bandula Gunawardhane, the Minister for Trade for the Government of Sri Lanka, to give his special address, please.
Excellencies, I would like to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this very special and important event. Excellencies, distinguished participants, it gives me immense pleasure for participating at this 26th edition of the Partnership Summit organized by the Indian Confederation of the Industry. I take this opportunity to convey my sincere thanks to Honorable Piyush Goyal, Minister of Railways, Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs and Foods and Public Distribution of the Government of India, for his kind invitation for my participation. I also wish to convey my appreciation to Mr. Uday Kotak, President of CII, his terms of organizing this 26th Partnership Summit. Amidst the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, I believe it is timely to vital for countries to challenge in a dialogue to address these challenges and discuss about new business and economic environment emerging as a result of the pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic, amid to the world when global trade already started slight growth, posing serious policy challenges for all of us. Even prior to the COVID-19, the increase in figures of unemployment and the economic hardship in many parts of the world signal disturbance trend. The retaliated trade action major trading partners of the world started bringing serious consequences to supply chain link established. Amidst these global trade unexpected COVID pandemic brought many challenges to global trade and economic strategies of the individual countries. IMF forecast 3% decline world GDP in 2020. WTO has predicted over 9.2% fall in the value of world merchandise trade 2020, followed by the 7.2% raise in 2021, leaving trade well below its pre-academic trend. It also projected stronger countries in Europe, North America due to the pandemic. All our countries were affected by COVID, and extent of consequence depends on the level of reliance of international trade for economic development. Over 70 million people were contracted by the virus with the number of deaths exceeding 1.6 million. Many economic challenges arose due to increase in government expenditure. Managing the performance of SME sector, small and medium scale, addressing resulting unemployment, adjusting domestic policy measures in line with the pandemic situation. The situation promoted for change in business models and policy making, while appreciation from digital system and commerce in daily activities. This has led different turn of supply chain management. Government mechanism is complete to apply digital system to with the chain. Necessitate government to adjust the legislative requirements to change. This partnership summit can continue to play a dominant role in during the world leaders and business communities together to interact and find solutions these global challenges by extending their experiences. This will certainly facilitate to guide the countries to establish cooperation for sustainable development and their respective countries. I believe that this summit has already paved the way for such cooperation among the countries. Let me also briefly touch upon the policy developments taken place in Sri Lanka and steps taken towards controlling the effects of COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Government policy on vistas of prosperity and spend focusing on major policy developments. The pandemic has enhanced the applications of digital technology, in particular in the sector of education, trade, services, including government sector services in Sri Lanka. Although our exports to the world affected at the beginning of pandemic, it has recovered at satisfactory level by the third quarter of year. Sri Lanka is still a land of choice for business, investment and tourism. Sri Lanka is situated strategically at the crossroad of the major shipping routes of South Asia, the Far East and the countries of Europe and America, making the countries a convenience port of call for shipping lines and air freight services. While recognition potential for Sri Lanka be trading hub in the region, the Global Alliance for Trade Facilitating, jointly led by the Center for International Private Enterprises, International Chamber of Commerce, and World Economic Forum, have initiated action on developing Sri Lanka as a multi-cargo consolidation hub. Incentives regime granting tax benefits, highly educated workforce in the country, building a knowledge economy in order to making to production factors more respectively to the global changes. Necessity infrastructure facilities, trade and investment. Lastly, I wish to draw attention to the host countries of summit. India and Sri Lanka have been enjoying very cordial relations many centuries. Our historical relations are not only trade and economic areas, but also in the social, cultural, and political arenas. Our ancient kings established these historical relations with even went to the extent of looking for marriage partners from India. The Buddhism practiced by the majority of my country originate from India, as the Lord Buddha was born and practiced his teaching in India. Even today, a large number of women from Sri Lanka are visiting India. With regard to our trade and economic relations, the both countries, with the objective of strengthening the existing trade relations, signed a free trade agreement in 1999, which came in effect from March 2000. This was first FTA of both countries. India has become the biggest source of supplies to Sri Lanka, while Sri Lanka has also increased its export substantially to India since conclusion of the FTA. The total trade between the two countries has reached $5 billion in 2019. Both our countries continue to enjoy a mutual beneficial economic relation. Sri Lanka looking forward to diversify its basket of product, afford India market to opportunities provided by the FTA. India has also become a significant investor in Sri Lanka. Both India and Sri Lanka have established supply chain links in leading manufacturers and buyers. It is observed that both countries have much more potential for joint collaboration, not only the commodity trade, but also the service sector. I am convinced that this partnership summit will facilitate bringing the links, joint business, investment, and technical cooperation for mutual benefits. While thanking once again for the opportunity extended me for participation, let us work, enhance trade and economic cooperation. I wish all success of your summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much for your special address. And may I now move to Dr. Tan Mint, the Minister for Commerce from Myanmar, to give his special address, please. Excellency, you are on mute. Yeah, you were on mute. Now it's okay. Yes, please. We can hear you.
Okay. Excellency, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a very good day to you all. It is my great pleasure and honor to be with you in this virtual platform and to deliver an address at this Partnership Summit 2020, which is very significant and constructive for enhancing partnership. and collaborated efforts among countries around the world at the time of COVID-19 crisis. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to Mr. Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, for perennially inviting me to join this virtual event. Today, the world is grappling with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has brought enormous challenges to our routine life. However, I am very glad to see that the partnership, the pendulum of prevent this annual event from taking place. Therefore, I would like to congratulate Confederations of Indian Industry, CII, on the successful hosting of this flagship event, and extend my best wishes to CII for all its endeavor and dedication to enhancing regional and global trade and economic ties. The themes of this event, Partnership for Lives, Livelihood and Growth, it's meaningful and reflects the current situations of global community with the wide range of coverage, including trade, investment, technology, and other prominent sectors. This event will provide opportunity to set up concrete networks among business communities of advanced and emerging economies, build new bridges to foster balanced and equitable growth, and also strengthen existing partnerships among countries. Excellency, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, digitalization is getting important in global economy, and it also becomes an area to pay special attention to the development of trade sector. Therefore, I would like to encourage all distinguished participants and guests to share experience in digital economy during this event and strengthen our cooperation in digital infrastructure for further development. During the pandemic, the countries are adjusting to a new normal and rethinking of new development model in the post-COVID-19 era to be more competitive and innovative. For emerging markets and developing countries, it is critical to strengthen public health systems, address the challenges, and implement reform for stable growth. So, we need to accelerate our efforts to ensure the mechanism for the smooth flows of supply chains and to deliver new opportunities to our entrepreneurs by utilizing the modern digital and technical platform. Acknowledging the importance of private sector involvement in economic development of our countries, I would like to encourage the business community virtually present today to share views on global trade trends and supply linkages and explore ways forward for further collaboration in dealing with trade restrictions and supply chain constraints posed by COVID-19 pandemic. Excellency, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, as you all might be aware that the pandemic has affected the entire world and the countries are working hard on public health care and laying down policy measures to stabilize their economies. Similarly, Myanmar has been struggling hard to place policy reaction for resilient economic recovery. At present, the government is drafting the Myanmar Economic Recovery Reform Plan, MERP, in connection with the Myanmar Sustainable Development Plan, MSDP, aiming to recovering from COVID-19 crisis and rebuilding national economy in the long term. Myanmar is also one of the agro-based countries, and there is a lot of potential for trade and investment in the sector of agriculture and food processing. Other sparkling sectors for foreign investors are aquaculture, energy, tourism, manufacturing infrastructure, and ICT. I do hope that business entrepreneurs who present at today's event can widen their business network and take trade and investment opportunity offered by Myanmar. On the other hand, I am fully confident that Myanmar's participation in this partnership summit will provide our business community to build linkages with business partners not only in India but also in other countries around the world. Global collaboration is vital to deal with both global health crisis, structures and development challenges that will remain with us in the medium to long term. The crisis has illustrated the importance and benefits of closer cooperation and effective communication among countries. The only way to overcome the crisis is to work together for strengthening regional and global cooperation. We are facing a complex situation and we need to ensure that global economy continue to move forward a greener, smarter, and fairer path of recovery. Excellency, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to thank again to the organizer, Confederation of Indian Industry CII, for hosting this great event. Distinguished guests and all of you virtually present here, I convey my best wishes to the participants of the ongoing discussion sessions, and I'm sure that the exchange of ideas and views will bring new opportunity and pave the way for making the world a better place. We assure you that Myanmar will work closely and constructively with all other trading and business partners for enhancements of partnerships and multi-sectoral cooperation, including trade and investment, e-commerce, and other potential sectors for mutual benefits. Let's work together and overcome the crisis with our collective strength effort. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you very much. It's now my privilege to invite and request His Excellency Piyush Goyal, the Honorable Minister for Development and Development Cooperation and Foreign Trade of Finland, to address us. I know it's a very, very early morning start for you today. Thank you, Minister.
Excellencies, Honorable Minister Goyal, the President of the Confederation of Indian Industries, Mr. Kotak, my minister colleagues from India and other countries, and the representatives of business organizations and companies. Good morning from Finland and regards from northern part of the world. And yes, it's an early morning, but I'm very pleased to join this meeting. And of course, I can tell you that in Finland, we don't have snow yet here in Helsinki, but the Santa Claus is, of course, preparing himself at the Arctic Circle to get ready for his global challenges. Hopefully, COVID-19 allows that. Finland is very grateful to the Indian Ministry of Commerce and Industry and to the Confederation of Indian Industry for being invited to address the opening session of this impressive and already actually 26th edition of Partnership Summit. In this context, I would particularly like to congratulate the CII for its 125th anniversary this year. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, just 5 weeks ago, I had a pleasure to attend another virtual event arranged by the CII. It was the second India-Nordic-Baltic Business Conclave. With its future-oriented themes, we were very much on the same track as we are today. With today's theme, Partnerships for Lives, Livelihood and Growth, our glance is already at the post-COVID-19 world, with the aim of making the recovery in our countries and worldwide faster, greener, and more sustainable. And I can tell you that that is exactly what Finnish government and our companies are doing right now every day, answering the question how we get out from the pandemic, how we build up sustainable growth to the world and to our people all over the world. Therefore, my address today is the following, and I would like to make three particular points. The first one is obviously the recovery and the investments. It's so important to use the recovery to accelerate our investments for cleaner and greener future, and thus turn losses into wins, as we in Europe are intended to do. This means that we are heavily investing for the next 3 years for sustainable growth. Secondly, we do need a future-oriented trade policy. A trade policy that supports our efforts, and therefore we need common rules, we need open trade, and we need a business environment conducive for investments. And thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, India-Finland economic partnership based on digitalization and sustainability fits in this big picture perfectly. Actually, digitalization fits to all pictures perfectly, because together with the green transition, digitalization is very much the key driver for sustainable growth in this world, in this planet. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that COVID-19 pandemic has caused immense misery and economic loss all over the world. But at the same time, it has also given us a chance to find solutions to our biggest challenges, especially those related to climate change and the environment. Finland and the European Union, we have always been at the very forefront in the fight against climate change, but I've been happy to see many other countries, both developed and developing countries, to join with ambitious climate targets despite the ongoing crisis. The way towards more sustainable future is challenging, but the process can be helped by a huge recovery packages launched in many corners of the world. The European Union has decided on a package worth 750 billion euros, targeted especially at green, digital and other future-looking investments, and we are seeing similar efforts in other countries as well. And now, obviously, the question is what we do with the money, how efficiently we do the implementation, and how result-oriented we are when it comes to climate, when it comes to digitalization and the productivity of each and every society of the planet. These are, to me, clear indications that the pandemic can be turned into a game changer against global challenges. My country, Finland, is very proud to lead the way with one of the most ambitious climate targets in the world. And this is what Finland wants to do. We want to show the example to the rest of the world that at the same time we can fight the climate challenges, implement the digitalization, but at the same time we can make sustainable business and our companies can make sustainable growth. We have set our aim at carbon neutrality at the year 2035. It's not an easy target, I'm very honest and frank to you, but we think that it is doable. And we are strongly committed to our slogan of building back better and greener. And the key is obviously that our companies are joining the challenge and we are investing more and more money to research and development and innovations, because that is the key. And of course, thirdly, that we are able to do sustainable, scalable business And that's why I have established this business to government platform to my ministry, serving the global audience with the Finnish solutions. And I'm very happy and proud that my embassy there in Delhi and all over the world are working on this challenge, and especially the solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few words about the trade policy and the investment environment. International cooperation has shown its importance during the last months, and it's really the key for tackling global challenges, including COVID-19 crisis. We can truly say that nobody is safe until everybody is safe. The pandemic has really shown the problems, the challenges in our systems, and also brought attention to questions related to resilience of our societies. And there is a natural tendency to opt for unilateralism at times of trouble, while we should aim for common solutions based on common rules. For instance, with regards to supply chains, the best way to improve resilience is to diversify channels rather than close borders or seek repatriation. And in this respect, maintaining an open rules-based multilateral trading system with WTO at its core, it's crucial for us. It's crucial to all of us. And therefore, we need to restore WTO's credibility as a matter of priority. And this demands both results in the ongoing negotiations as well as other reforms. We need India to be an active and constructive partner in this process. In terms of bilateral relations, the European Union-India strategic partnership is the broader framework for our cooperation. The EU-India summit was a success in July. Our task is now to implement its results decisively with the EU-India roadmap to 2025 as our guide. We should also set a time for the high-level dialogue to discuss our differences about free trade agreement as soon as possible. For the European Union, the most topical issue is investment protection. An agreement would greatly add to the predictability of the Indian business environment and contribute to economic growth. I would like to encourage India to continue on a path for deeper economic reforms and open economy as outlined by Prime Minister Modi. India has many strengths. It's a global ICT giant and a hub for vaccine production, to name just a few. Make in India policy would benefit from open and predictable business environment and benefit from that and strengthen the export sector further. Just a week ago, I had a very constructive virtual dialogue on these issues with Honorable Minister Goyal, and once again, thank you for that. We really appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, if I had to characterize India-Finland economic relations with one concept, the catchword would be digital partnership, with particular focus on 5G and even 6G. And related areas of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cyber security. Finland has been a global leader in mobile technologies since 1980s. But today we are talking about a genuinely two-way street, while ICT has always been big in our investment to India. In the future, it will be more about Indian investment to Finland as our cooperation deepens. And we all know that the world will be different with 5G and business to enterprise solutions. And now the question is how well we work together to enable sustainable growth and businesses and services for all of us. Today, our digital partnership is complemented by sustainable partnership, where climate and environmental targets are driving our companies to improve their competitiveness and search for partnerships internationally. I am convinced, and actually I'm confident, that there are huge opportunities for fruitful cooperation between Finnish and Indian companies, but especially also with research entities and ecosystems. To capitalize on the opportunities, we need to place India more firmly on the mental map of the Finns and vice versa. In other words, to create Findia spirit. India is very important partner for Finland. We place much emphasis on developing our relations further. And I'm happy to announce today that we will strengthen our official presence in India in the near future, with particular view to boosting our commercial relations. I'm personally very committed to these additional resources and, of course, the aim of building more and more personal relations with your government, with your people, with your companies all over the country. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, I conclude my address and look forward to a successful partnership summit, paving the way towards deeper ties between our businesses and institutions, but especially with the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Minister Skinari, for your special address and for your participation. May I now invite and request His Excellency Dr. Thani Ahmed Al Zaudi, the Minister of Foreign Trade from the UAE, to give his address, please.
Thank you so much, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from the UAE. Let me begin by thanking the Government of India and Confederation of India's Industry for inviting me to participate in the 26th Annual Partnership Summit, focused on lives, livelihood, and growth. I'm deeply honored to join you for this very important summit, as the United Arab Emirates believes that partnership and collaboration is the key to solving our most pressing global challenges that we are faced with today. While the COVID-19 pandemic has pushed countries to become more self-resilient and reliant, the unprecedented challenges that have also made countries realize the power of economic and strategic alliances. The pandemic has altered the dynamic of a global economy and has triggered the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, creating great uncertainty about the impact of people's life and livelihoods. To effectively tackle a health and economic crisis of such magnitude, the world requires a new kind of approach, one that fosters cooperation and not isolation among countries. The partnership between the UAE and India is an example of this. Our two countries coordinated actions to rapidly respond to and overcome the global health and economic crisis situation. For example, through the exchange of medical supplies and professionals, we were able to protect the lives and livelihoods of our people. The UAE and India also work together to minimize the disruption in the supply chains between our two countries and broader region during the peak of the pandemic. This is a testament to the strong alliance we have with India and our confidence in India's economic growth. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, I have been fortunate to witness the growing bilateral relation between the UAE and India, driven by our close friendship and our deep cultural and economic ties. Trade and investments has been the cornerstone of this bilateral partnership. As of 2019, the UAE stood as India's third largest trading partner for the seventh consecutive year after only China and United States. In fact, bilateral trade between the UAE and India has grown significantly from 180 million in 1970s to about $59 billion in 2019. Additionally, the UAE was the second largest exporter destination for India in 2019, and the UAE's investments in India amounted to about $2.2 billion in the first three quarters of 2020 alone. To put this into perspective, during the fiscal year of 2019-2020, the UAE accounted for about half of India's total trade with GCC countries and 71% of India's overall exports to the GCC countries. For years, the UAE has been the gateway to the world for India and has often been viewed by Indian companies as a major re-export hub, owing to its geographical location, well-developed storage, logistic infrastructure, and ease of doing businesses. In terms of investment, the UAE is the 11th largest investor in India. It is also the largest Arab investor in the country, accounting for about 82% of the total Arab investments in India. Our cumulative investments in India amount to about $15 billion, including about $9 billion in form of foreign direct investment. The UAE is a trusted partner to India, and we're excited to explore new areas of economic growth and collaboration, such as in advanced manufacturing, defense, food processing, healthcare, space, artificial intelligence, and many others. I firmly believe that what we have achieved together so far is just the beginning, and there remains immense untapped potential to expand the trade and investment and enable greater economic growth for both countries. In addition, with 3.4 million Indians calling the UAE their second home, the Indian community plays an important and vital role in the socio-economic fabric of the UAE and is one of the most dynamic aspects of the UAE-India bilateral relationships. In fact, according to the World Bank, Indian expats in the UAE remitted about $18.5 billion in 2018 and accounted for roughly 24% of India's total remittance received in 2018. A clear example of robust bilateral ties between our two countries. The UAE's close tie with India is reinforced by our strong air connectivity, over 1,000 weekly flights between our two countries. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm so optimistic about our future together is that despite the current pandemic situation, the UAE and India are poised to emerge stronger together, because at the core of our partnership lies our shared commitment to create a greater prosperity for our two countries and the broader region as a whole. Wish you all the best in the summit, and thank you so much for inviting the UAE to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Zayode. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to invite and request the summit chairman, Shri Piyush Goyal, the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Railways, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution of the Government of India, to give his inaugural address, please.
Thank you very much, Chandrajit. His Excellency Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, the Honorable Minister of Trade from Sri Lanka, thank you for your leadership during the lockdown and the very effective handling of the COVID situation in Sri Lanka, where you had a very important role to play. And thank you for sharing your experiences with all of us. His Excellency Dr. Than Min, Minister of Commerce from Myanmar, I recall our recent meeting last month and really wish to acknowledge your very insightful comments about liberalization and international engagement as the tools for future development of economies. His Excellency Mr. Skinnery, my good friend whom we had a very long conversation with only last week, the Honorable Minister for Development, Cooperation and Foreign Trade, Finland. Minister Skinnery has shown us how important and how integral it is to have mutual cooperation, and win-win solutions are the only way to expand the potential between countries across the world. In fact, thank you very much, Mr. Skinnery, for your very warm comments after our meeting last week through your tweet, which I would like to reciprocate and thank you for. I agree with you that reform and greater international free trade are the way forward. And I'm grateful to you for encouraging India in our effort to deepen our reform agenda. My good friend, His Excellency Dr. Thani Ahmed Al Zayudi, the Honorable Minister of State for Foreign Trade of the United Arab Emirates, whom I've had the pleasure of engaging with more than once, who is himself an evangelist for environmental issues, and I agree with his comment about the new approach of cooperation and not isolation, taking the world forward. In fact, we are looking forward very much to our own presence at the Dubai Expo, Minister Thani, and wish you all the very best in your endeavors to get the world on one stage in Dubai later next year. Thank you, Mr. Uday Kotak, President of CII, one of the most illustrious bankers in India, a very well-known philanthropist and a dear friend, somebody who has given very, very powerful leadership to Indian industry during one of the most stressed periods that the country has ever seen. Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, is the voice of India and Indian industry across the world. He is a person who builds relationships, and he's a person who works like a bridge between different stakeholders, both within the country and internationally. Thank you, Chandrajit, for your continuous engagement, both within India, between industry and government, and with our international friends. I would only like to compliment Uday and you for the wonderful work your CII and all of you have done all through the year under the very able leadership that you have provided. My colleague, Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, the Secretary of the Department for Promotion of Investment and Internal Trade in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, who has relentlessly pursued reform, growth, and bringing back the mojo, the dynamism in Indian industry. Friends from over 100 countries who are participating in this very important partnership summit. Of course, it's been held for over a quarter century now, but the first ever virtual summit in this new age, the new normal that we are all experiencing, where we are going to have very exciting discussions with over 17 ministers from different countries, over 10 Indian ministers, 32 global CEOs, and 60 global experts on a variety of subjects participating. I welcome all of you and wish the Partnership Summit great success. As you must have all observed, there was one common thread in the speeches of all the illustrious ministers before me. The thread of working together in partnership in the spirit of cooperation and collaboration. I believe friendships turn into partnerships when friends support each other for their mutual growth. CII over the last 125 years has been at the vanguard of building friendships and partnerships between industry across the world with industry and business in India. I would like to acknowledge the valuable inputs insights, and the consultative process that CII has engaged in for 125 years now, which has original growth levels, grow sustainably in the future, and it is a pleasure to see that the theme of today's Partnership Summit is also about partnerships for lives, livelihoods, and growth. I am sure in the course of the next 4 days, we'll have very lively discussions, a lot of new thoughts, ideas coming to the table, which will help all of us in our common and joint endeavor to get our economies back on the growth path, save lives of our people, precious lives, and ensure that livelihoods are protected and new opportunities are encouraged in all our countries. As they say, the crisis will pass, but I am confident we will emerge stronger and wiser because of the trials and tribulations that we have all collectively gone through and the learnings out of this pandemic. In fact, continuing on an open path, India has been systematically opening up to global investors new sectors of our economy and encouraging businesses through strategic relationships with different investment partners, strengthening our economic plans for the future, and introducing conducive reforms and facilitation measures to encourage greater global involvement in our own V-shaped recovery that is there for all to see. Even before the onset of the pandemic, India was rapidly announcing a slew of reform measures aimed at improving the economy and the productivity levels in the economy. For example, last year, we announced one of the most attractive tax rates, certainly cannot match with the UAE, but otherwise one of the most attractive tax rates available anywhere in the world at 22% tax for businesses in India and for new manufacturing facilities set up after October 2019, a tax rate of 15%. In fact, FDI flows in India have been continuously growing, and I'm happy to share with you that even during the first 9 months of this year, at the peak of COVID pandemic, our FDI has grown, and we have today one of the most facilitative and congenial FDI policies in the world. Almost all sectors have 100% automatic route FDI approval, and we have seen during the April to September period, that's only the first half of this year, FDI inflows at about $40 billion, which has been higher than last year by about 13%. As they say, opportunities are like sunrises. If you wait too long, you miss them. And I'm quoting William Arthur Ward, a famous American author. India does not wish to miss the sunshine under the warm sun that India is blessed with. We believe in the new world, there will be new thinking. There will be new paradigm of sustainable development. There will be new opportunities. The world will emerge stronger, better, safer, and wiser. Towards that end, India has focused on reform in 4 major challenge areas for growth: capital, labor, land, and removing barriers for new businesses. Our intent is bold, our ambition is large, our actions are focused. We aim not only to grow sustainably at high levels, but achieve the target of becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. We believe the historic reforms in different sectors like defense, mining, finance, agriculture, labor will hold the country in good stead in our effort to improve prosperity levels of the people of India, give quality education and healthcare to every young boy and girl in the country, develop the skills of our youth, reach digital technology to every citizen of the country, ensure financial inclusion for 1.35 billion Indians, ensure availability of high quality healthcare, engaging with telemedicine in a big way. The new education policy 2020 introduces modern education concepts which will help us train our youth to meet the challenges of a largely globalized world, and we want to ensure housing for all across the country, a good quality house with toilet, electricity, digital connectivity, clean drinking water, cooking gas as the medium of cooking, roads connecting our villages, in fact, taking quality infrastructure to 600,000 villages in the length and breadth of the India. As they say, India wants to go global. We believe global amenities should reach our local communities living in the villages of India. And I believe that's the partnership opportunity that's available to countries across the world, to businesses and industry working in international arena, to come to India, to engage with Indian businesses, to look at these opportunities which 1.35 billion Indians and a very, very rapidly growing middle class provides for greater markets and greater business opportunities. A number of new schemes have been introduced, including the production-linked incentive to attract industry to come to India. We have investment promotion cells in all the ministries. The central government and the states are working in partnership to attract investment, to provide land at very affordable rates, to ensure seamless approval processes through a single window that we are developing under the leadership of Dr. Mahapatra. A lot of opportunities are opening up in different sectors, be it IT, be it commerce, be it trade, telecom, pharma, consumer goods, agriculture, finance, fintech, the services sector. India is a land of opportunities. I invite you to board the bus of development, growth, and prosperity that Prime Minister Modi is crafting for the people of India. I invite you to partner with India because, as we believe, alone we can accomplish little, but together our reach may exceed beyond anyone's imagination. We have taken a big leap of faith in our global engagement, and I am sure this is the time to be in India. This is the time to expand your presence and investments in India. We welcome you with open arms, a red carpet, and assure you our complete assistance and partnership and involvement through your journey in this land of opportunity. I am confident the deliberations at the Partnership Summit will bring forth new ideas, new opportunities, chance for further mutual cooperation and friendship. Thank you very much, Excellencies, for joining us at this inaugural session. Thank you very much, CII, and all the distinguished participants of the first ever virtual partnership summit of CII. It will be a trendsetter in the future. Help us engage much more deeply and frequently with each other and help the world look at the new world with new lens and a new way of working and living. My best wishes to all of you for the forthcoming year ahead of us. I am confident 2021 will be a much better year than the year gone by. As they say, let bygones be bygones. Let's look with optimism to the future. Let's all work together in that same spirit of friendship and partnership that we have demonstrated through the COVID pandemic. And I am confident we have a huge and bright future awaiting the entire world. The sun will shine brighter. The sun will provide energy, and the sun will show us the direction for a great future for the people of all of the countries of the world. My best wishes for the new year. May you all stay safe, healthy, and keep well. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you very much for those kind words. Thank you very much for the laying out the agenda really for what we should be discussing over the next 4 days. Thanks for that, for inaugurating this conference, and thanks for chairing this initiative, which is, as you said, a very new experience for us to do a partnership summit. I was just checking the number of people who have registered and who are watching the inaugural session. The number was 5984. So that's close to 6,000 people across the world who watched this conference inaugural. And thank you once again, Honorable Minister Goyal, for this phenomenal leadership that you have given us to get this partnership summit up and running. Thank you very much. And I would like to also thank other ministers who have joined us. Minister Zawadi, thank you very much. Thank you, Minister Plenary. Thank you, Dr. Tan Mint, and thank you, Dr. Bandula Gunawardene, for your participation. And this group of ministers who have opened the session would be very, very important and valuable for us as we go along with the other sessions. Thank you, everyone, for giving us this great start. Thank you, Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra, who has been a great partner and a leader in seeing to it the nitty-gritties of the Partnership Summit are well managed and well done. Thank you for the leadership of the DPIIT. The co-chair, the president of CII, Mr. Uday Kotak, thank you very much for your part. You are going to be participating in many more sessions and talking there and giving your observations. Thank you very much for being there at the inaugural session. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we conclude the inaugural session. The other sessions continue. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you.